Hi, I'm MJ Elbert. You can call me Mark. I'm the owner of MJ Elbert Books, and I help authors launch their books to bestseller status. If you look in the comments below, there's a link to about a dozen authors that I have helped do this. And in the process of doing that, I've learned a lot about marketing. And I've come to the realization that there's got to be a better way to market our books without spending a ton of cash to do it. So what this video is about is ways that you can market your book and not have to spend your whole bank account doing it. Okay, so let's get started here. First of all, your sales of your books is going to be contingent on how much traffic you have and where you are looking for readers. In other words, you want to look for readers of your particular genre, your particular topic, if it's nonfiction. And there are certain things that you can do that don't cost a lot of money. Designing a lead magnet, using social media, excuse me, using other authors, swaps and group promos, using theirs, swapping your reader list for theirs. And there's also other ways you can do it through local media, podcasts, blogs, etc. And of course, there's always advertising. So, just an introduction. Um, Getting started as a new author, it can be daunting. I know when I started, I was a little overwhelmed by the number of authors out there. I mean, I think we all kind of think we're unique, that not just anybody can tell a story. But the fact is, there are, excuse me, thousands and thousands of authors out there. And we all can tell a good story. What differentiates one from the other is finding people to read your book, mostly. I mean, you have to have a good story, it should be edited. You do need a few things done for the book before you find people to read it. But the competition is tough out there. There's millions of readers, but then there are millions and millions of books. So finding eyes to look at your work can be daunting. Okay, so to have sales, of course, you need traffic. The key is finding people who want to read your book, obviously. You want to look for the people reading your particular genre. Because if you just do kind of a shotgun approach and you kind of throw your book out there to the world, you're not going to be getting much in return. Think of it as kind of diluting a pond versus diluting a cup of water. If you throw a couple of drops of green dye into a teacup full of water, you're going to get your green color. But if you want to change the color of an entire lake, you're going to need a lot more dye. It's going to cost you a lot more. So you want to target the people that will read your book, that would want to read your book. And the foundation here is activity, doing things every day and moving your business forward. So you really want to commit to spending a certain amount of time in promoting your book and finding those readers. A lead magnet is something in the marketing world that is common. A lot of people for our business call it a reading magnet, book magnet. And basically, it could be a free book. It can be a short story that's related to the way you write or the genre that you write in, or even the series that you're writing. It could be an anthology. In other words, you get together with several other authors. You all either write a chapter apiece or you each submit a short story and then you put that into a book form and market it that way. Okay, the content. Okay, so it could be You could use chapters that you didn't put in your book or content that doesn't go into your book. I've done lead magnets where I've taken the first chapter of 3 different books and put them together and used that as a lead magnet. If you're in a genre where maps are good, like epic fantasy, you could include a map of the world that you created, or a timeline. I had one client who uh, edited and wrote a book of her uncle who was a World War II flying ace, worked in the university system, was an ambassador, and actually was a spy for the CIA during the Cold War. So she put together a timeline of his life and used that as her lead magnet. Now, the goal is to get people in your email base using this lead magnet. You're actually exchanging this thing of value for their email address so that you can create a newsletter and start developing a conversation and a relationship with your readers. Social media is probably the biggest area right now where you can gain a following without spending a ton of money. Communicate in whatever version or whatever platform of social media you're comfortable with. You don't have to go through everyone out there in order to be successful. If you're comfortable with Facebook, use Facebook. There are tons and tons of readers and groups of readers there that you can target, get to know, engage. And the key here is engagement. You want to get to know the people reading those types of books and slowly introduce yourself and your books to them. If you do it that way, they're much more likely to give you a chance to read you, to be a part of your reader list, and also pass it on to their friends. We talked about Facebook. There are groups in Facebook, and the thing to do is find those, read the rules of the group. Some will let you post about your work, some won't. But join them, get to know what people are saying, engage that way. You know, use your opinions and thoughts, or somebody's asking a question, you have the answer, of course. Post an answer to it. So you're getting involved with the community. You want to do that and become part of that community. It makes it much more easier to get your book in front of them. Instagram is another way you can actually post a visual, and then you can hashtag it looking for people who read your type of books. You can direct message them through Instagram. You want to do that gently. You don't want to, hey, read my book. You want to, hey, I notice you read this kind of book, and what kind of books do you like? And here's my favorites. And if you don't mind, would you take a look at my book? Or send them to your landing page with your reader magnet. Twitter is another way. I'm not really comfortable with Twitter. I have used it. And again, you need to use hashtags to find your readers for those books. TikTok is huge. In TikTok, you can quickly gather followers. I got about 2,000 followers in about 10 days for my pen name, MJ Fitzmaurice. And you can find readers that way also using BookTok. There are several things you can do to engage people there. You can direct message them. I wouldn't recommend starting out doing that. I would recommend going to their page, looking at some of their videos, commenting, being engaged with people, and again, what books they're reading, talk about the books that you have read, etc. But TikTok is very powerful if you use it right. And basically, when you get to know other authors, you can use BookFunnel or Prolific Works to do this. but also Goodreads, Facebook. You can find other authors in your genre and pretty much any social media. And through that, you can collaborate, create a group promo. In other words, you create a promotion that all of you send to your list so that you're combining all these reader lists, and usually it's between 10 to 20 authors that get together and do this. And you all put your landing pages in there with your reader magnet, and pretty soon you're increasing your readership quite a bit. Another thing you can do with other authors, and I'm starting to see this done between just regular authors. You can go out there and find companies that do this for thousands and thousands of dollars, but that is putting together an anthology where you could get together with other authors and write a story. Each of you takes a chapter, and writes a complete story, and at the end of the chapter, you insert your information, your link to your page, your landing page, or your author page, whatever you want to put in there. You can also put together a group of short stories by each of you, or put together an anthology of the first chapters of your books and put it together. You just want to include your information and make sure that the reader has an opportunity to link to your page and your site. Another way outside of social media is to look for podcasts. You can go through, like iTunes is probably the biggest area for podcasts. Go through, find podcasts about your genre. Spend some time listening to the podcast. Find one that you're particularly interested in or you think would be a great fit for you. And then comment on the podcast. Let the owner know, the producer, that you enjoyed listening and have some comments to make. And then you can contact them and say, hey, I've got this book, I would love to come on your show and talk about it. Local radio and TV program managers are another way. Generally, probably nonfiction works better here. You want to have a topic that you can give an elevator pitch for, and then it's just a matter of being present in those people's minds. You want to contact them on a regular basis and say, hey, I'm still out here. I'm looking for, to talk about this or that, whatever your particular topic is, just to let them know, you're there, so that if something comes up where they can use you, you're top of mind, and they're going to go, hey, I know this person that might talk about this, and they'll contact you that way. Blogs also are another way that you can get to know people who are influencers and possibly get you interviewed with them. Now, if you are going to advertise, here's kind of a general rule of thumb that I use. If you're only got 1 to 4 books in your library, I wouldn't do a lot of advertising. You might want to set a budget and try it out if you want to learn, like Facebook or Amazon or BookBub advertising. But I wouldn't spend a ton of money on it yet. When you've gotten over the 5 to 10 books, you can start utilizing Facebook and target groups that read your type of book. Facebook is really good that way. You can kind of focus your efforts on people who actually would like to read your book. Amazon advertising can be the same way. You want to have a lot of keywords introduced. There are different ways to market it with Amazon, different ways to advertise. It would be good to take a class on it, actually, if you really wanted to learn it well. BookBub is another way that you can advertise. You can do an advertisement with BookBub fairly inexpensively, and they have millions and millions of readers, and you can target your genre, and also target authors that are similar to you. And when you do that, you'll actually get metrics that tell you how successful you are with any particular author that you have targeted. What you're doing basically is telling BookBub that the followers of this particular author would like my book. And so they're going to get your advertisement. And of course, BookBub has promos that cost a lot of hundreds of dollars. But if you can get them, they're very competitive. If you can get them, your book is going to be advertised to millions of people. It's going to be like top of mind, one of the things that they see when they open up their BookBub list or BookBub email. And you can have huge success that way. When you get to about 20 books, you want to budget to success. You want to create a budget, and hopefully you've learned how to utilize these various advertising features and fit your budget to your how much you're earning. You don't ever want to, of course, spend more than you're earning, but in order to push it forward, in order to increase it, you're going to have to incrementally up your budget as you learn better ways to advertise. And if you get beyond 20 books, hopefully you're making enough money at that point you can hire an assistant to do all that work. With my 30-day plan, we have you design a lead magnet, join social media if you're not already joined. I'm going to have you join, you can do this now, join a Facebook group called 20 Books to 50K. And actually that's misspelled. The number 2 is actually spelled out. It should be 20 Books TO 50K. That group has over 60,000 authors. Some of them are brand new. It runs a whole spectrum. Some of them are brand new, and some have been there long enough that they're making millions of dollars with their books. Sign up for BookFunnel and Prolific Works. You want to design your lead magnet, and then you can join group promos or design your own group promo, plus set up a landing page which you can send in your social media accounts to people that follow you there, and they can sign up for your newsletter. The newsletter itself, I use MailerLite for my email marketing tool. There are other ones. MailChimp is one. There are several others. And if you want a comparison, email me and I'll send you a link where you can get some information about them. But then you want to commit to a schedule to mail out your newsletter, to keep your readers engaged and let them know that you're active, that you have another book coming out, or this book is going on sale, or maybe even you're recommending a book you just read that you really enjoyed. You can do that as well. All right, my offer, I have 2 of them. Offer 1's totally free. You and I will sit down and come up with a 30-day plan that works for you, is specific to you. We'll hold weekly Zoom meetings. I currently have a Zoom meeting Wednesday afternoons with my authors. I'll pick a topic and talk about that, and we'll just see how everybody's doing if they need some help. And I'm always available via email or Facebook chat. I do ask in return for this offer that you give me a video testimonial that I can use in my own marketing for my business. The second offer is I will take you through the 6 elements of a good book marketing campaign, the same things that I've done for authors and charge anywhere from $2,000 to $6,000 for, where I get their book to Amazon bestseller status. This will be a weekly meeting. It's separate from the free one, where we'll talk over each of the individual 6 elements, and you'll get some homework to do. and I'll guide you through that whole process so that you can achieve Amazon bestseller and also develop habits that are going to move you forward. Normally I charge like 2,000, anywhere from 2 to 6,000 actually, but I'm going to do this as a group so I can save you some money. And right now the cost is only $495. I want to thank you. I really would like to get to know you. You can email me at the email address on the screen, find out more about me on my website there. And I wish you all a great success in your author endeavors. And I hope to talk to you soon.